So, how do you know you have been fulfilling your duty, your obligation, and responsibility within the world? What have you been doing with your time, and how have you been spending it? And will what you have been doing amount to anything? So, there are many ways to determine this, but one way in particular I'm going to be focusing on today is the Saturn return. Not the first, but the second. Before I continue, my name is Lesejo and I am an astrologer and tarot reader. And today we are looking back with astrology in the chart of Gordon Ramsay, right? So, a bit of an explanation. I noticed or came across the fact that he has a new show that was released on the 21st of May 2025, right? And I'm like, do we have verified birth chart data? We do on astro.com, a double A rated chart. So I decided to look at the cycles he was under during the time. And I thought it was very interesting that the show is being released while he is in his second Saturn return. So we are going to dive into the specifics of the chart, and then I'm just going to speak a little bit about the cycles. So here's the chart. Now, if you are interested in, career and vocation, a book I would recommend is by Joanne Wickenberg, In Search of a Fulfilling Career. And within the appendices, she references that certain planets and signs are related to certain careers. So in the case of a chef, you're looking at the moon and Venus, as well as Taurus and Cancer, right? So obviously, you need to do a bit more research. If you're proficient in astrology, if you don't know, consult a professional. Now, in his case, the moon is oriental. So I can see that the sense of nurturing, whether it is recognized in television or not, is prominent. And not only is it oriental, but it is in the fifth house of creativity, right? And this moon in Virgo, I know that yes, there is over dramatization within television, but what is important to someone with a moon in Virgo is this notion or this action of being very discerning, being very critical, right? But when you think about it, being a chef, you are in service of others. You are in service of serving them food. And that is very important to him. That is his craft. That is what he is spending his time and his energy and his day-to-day work on. So obviously he's going to take it seriously and he's going to be a bit of a disciplinarian, right? So obviously there are many aspects that this moon in Virgo is highlighting. It is with Uranus and Pluto, and it's also aspecting Neptune. We are really seeing where his creativity comes from and how it packs a punch, right? But why I think this is so interesting, right? We're just going to go to Saturn, right there in the 11th in Pisces. And the moon and Pisces are opposite. Sorry, the moon and Saturn are opposite each other, right? And because Saturn is the traditional ruler of his MC in Aquarius, right? We are seeing that he takes this nurturing, critical role in his career, right? And he's very discerning. And he has basically made a career out of being an authoritarian, out of being a respectable figure in the kitchen, right? And this is how he's spending his time. This is what he has been building towards. And we can really see the fact that it's culminating within his second Saturn return. He's in another show and he's helping again, and maybe it doesn't seem like it, but we don't know him personally. And we kind of need to take that into consideration as well, is that we don't know what's going on in his mind. This, to me, in my opinion, it seems like it's very important to him. It's a need that he needs to fulfill, being some sort of disciplinarian within chefs' lives, within their careers, and helping them be the best that they can be. That's kind of how I'm seeing this aspect play out in his life, right? So why I thought the cycles were interesting, right, is that his Saturn return happened actually around March of 2025. And that is when it was exact, around that time, end of March, beginning of April. And it's not going to be exact again for the rest of 2025. But at the time that the show was released, right, the North Node in Pisces was conjunct his Saturn, right? So we are really seeing some karmic alignment of how he's been spending his time, some karmic alignment of his responsibility again, him showing up as the disciplinarian in the kitchen, and if we're being honest, as much as, there is, this flair within television of being dramatic, he is respected for it. That is Saturn. Respect and maturity that comes with time. And we can't deny that. We can't deny that he has shown us who he is. And so I think that if you are coming towards your second Saturn return, looking back at your life and how you've been spending your time can really see or indicate, what have you been building? Have you been facing your fears? And in his case, obviously, we don't know him, like I said, but we can see that when it comes to his public recognition, his public standing, he is definitely, he's there. He's at the top. And so if you have any questions, comments, if you want to comment about something that I didn't mention, but you would like to mention, then go right ahead in the comments and let me know. But I hope that you enjoyed today's short video and enjoy the rest of your day.